Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I think we're probably ready to get started. The other ones will join us. So
Okay.
everybody, Mustafa, would you mind introducing yourself and telling them about your background?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hello. My name is Mustafa Braimah. I am born and raised in Ghana. Let me share a screen. Oh, Jim, am I able to share a screen?
Yeah, let me see. Jack,
Okay.
someone. we'll get you
Go
to
to
share the screen.
Should I let him?
Yes, let him in.
go to participation, co-host.
So you go to more. Oh, that's broken. Go to more, and then you say make host.
Yep. Okay.
Co-host. Oh,
Share his screen.
Yeah. Thank you, sweetheart. You should be set.
okay, thank you.
You might get some people wanting to be admitted. So.
Okay. All right. Let me.
So if you all want to come a little bit closer to like or sit and watch for a second to listen.
I'm gonna share.
I'll share this recording with you.
Okay. So this will be my topic. So I'm going to okay, admit. I'm going to take you through step by step who I am, what I do, and then from there we'll segue into traditional African dance or African dance history or traditional indigenous African dance forms. So I was born and raised in Ghana. You all know where Ghana is?
Yes.
Okay. Ghana is in West Africa. I was raised by my mom, who was a nurse, and she worked at various hospitals. So in Ghana, we have regions. Instead of here that we have states, in Ghana, we have regions. So we have about 10 regions. And so my mom worked in a lot of regions. And we spent about 4 years, close to maybe 6 in every region that we go, and then we move on to the next. And so my mom and I migrating, and my other siblings, as we migrate through the country, I became more familiar with a lot of cultures, and I learned a lot of languages. So I speak about 9 different Ghanaian languages. So if you add English, which I'm still learning how to speak English, but if you add English, it'll be 10, 10 languages. So this is a map of Ghana. There are about 250 languages spoken in a country, and we have about 120 different ethnic groups. So that's how diverse the country is. And then my educational background, I'm not going to go into details. So I was born in, if you look at the first item, it says Akim Tafu, that's where I was born. I went to secondary school there. From my secondary school, I went on to University of Ghana, School of Performing Arts. From there, I came to Ohio University for my MA in African Studies, International Studies, focusing on dance ethnography. And then from there, I went to University of Maryland to get my MFA in dance. So these are some photos of me when I was many years ago, before a lot of you were born, or if not all of you. Many years ago, these are photos of me touring with the National Dance Company, the continent of Africa. And we toured about 32 different countries. These are all photos. And then these are different. This is a little recent. These performances in Canada. So this is the diaspora. So the ones you saw before, these are my my African country tour. and this is the diaspora. I was dancing with Azaguno, I danced with Soul Emotion, with touring the whole world. We went to Europe, bringing African performance, African-based dance to our audience. So before I moved from my secondary education to University of Ghana, I joined this world-renowned company called the Ghana National Dance Company. I was under 18, and so I wasn't like a member, like official member, because the government couldn't employ an underage. But they handpicked me because the then artistic director saw me and saw my progress and the talent that I have, and he wanted me to be a part of the company. So I worked with this company for about 4 years. And even while I was at University of Ghana, I will still work with them every now and then, because if I have time, I will, but otherwise I have to focus on my education. And through the Ghana Dance Company, I traveled in 2010. I came right after our tour. I came back. This one I was alone. I came on a stagecraft apprenticeship scholarship at American Dance Festival in Durham. So that was my first time coming to the United States. It was in 2010. I went back and came in and returned back to school in Ohio University in 2012. And these are just my interests. Some of the things that interests me. Oh, wait, let me. Okay. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. So these are some of the things that interests me. I'm interested in immigration just because I'm immigrant. Immigration, sub-Saharan African artists to be specific, and in social justice, foreign policy, dance ethnography, and African dance-based performance. So these are the things that I've been researching on. These are things that I've invested it's a lifetime. I always tell my students and some of my colleagues that it's a lifetime research that is ongoing, and at any point, wherever I am, I just share wherever I am as at the current position where I find myself. So now that I'm presenting to you, I'll share with you some of the things I found, and then while all the questions that you ask, some of the questions that I get from you, and then the question that I ask you and the answers you give me, it also helps in my research as I move forward. And I'm also interested in teaching, research, choreography, and performance. And these are some of the courses I've taught or I still teach here in UNCA and a lot of schools that I've been. So my research informed my teaching, and it's important to acknowledge the ways in which my teaching can inform my scholarship. One of the reasons I love teaching these classes or these forms is that they provide an opportunity to explore how these topics are relevant to my lived experiences, and then exploring these questions in class inspires me in my research, and it often generates research questions, like I was saying. And then in my movement research and traditional African dance classes, we examine why there are so many debates recurring about dance forms and how they change over time, and why they do not change, and how they evolve across history. And this has been my influence. This has influenced my research and on arguments of dance education in the 21st century.
Mustafa, we do see more than one slide, so I don't know if I don't think we're in presentation mode.
Oh. Wait, hold on, let me.
Is it the third one over?
Oh, okay.
That one?
Present this view. Is it, do you see it?
No, I still see the multiple slides and the notes.
Oh. How about this one? You still see it?
Yeah, we still see it. One over to the left. There you go.
How about this one? Okay, okay. All right. So, so these are the form what I'm interested in, and this is Jermaine Akoni. So if you haven't already, I think you will come across this wonderful woman in dance, not just African dance, but have any of you heard about her? Have you heard her name before?
No, most of our students have not.
No, okay. So this is Jermaine Akoni. She's often referred to as the mother of contemporary African dance, because she has invented, or she has created contemporary African dance, starting from Western based dance form, like for instance ballet. So she lived in France. She's from Senegal, but she lived in France. That's where she started her dance career, and she was studying ballet. But through ballet, she came back to Senegal and established a school called the École des Sables. École des Sables means School of the Sand. So she has a summer school that students from all over the world goes every summer to study with her. And I met her when I was 11, I think maybe 14, back in Ghana. And the next time I saw her was when she was invited to my school at University of Maryland to as a guest artist. She was there for a week, and I asked her to teach in my class, and so she invited me, and we taught together in the same class. I thought it's really profound, and I wanted to share with you, but she's my hero in dance, in the dance world. So these are some of the research I have accomplished, like done. Of these are done, but the last one, the IPCCR on social justice, is ongoing. So what I did here is I took students to Ghana, students at University of Maryland, students of color to Ghana to interact with University of Ghana students about issues of social justice. So the students of United States students here will talk about racism, we'll talk about misogyny, we'll talk about hate and all that, police brutality. And students in Ghana will talk about ethnic conflicts. They talk about patriarchy and matriarchy, because the family system is either patrilineal inheritance or it's matrilineal inheritance. So we put them together to see how we can cross communicate with these two different students. And I selected students in Ghana, students who have never been here before, who have no idea. They've only learned about America from movies. They understand America from movies and a lot of dances that they see. So when I create, this is my creative process. I'm not gonna go into details. And then some of my future works, this is what I've been working on. It's what I dream to achieve in the next 2 years. It used to be a year. I was gonna do it this year and then COVID. So I'll say in the next 5 years, if we come back to normal. All right, so that was a brief introduction of who I am, what I do, and where I'm from, and my interests and all that. Do any of you have any question before I move on to the next?
I don't think so. I think you gave them a lot to think about. They'll probably formulate some questions as they digest this information.
Okay.
But no questions right now.
Okay, you should be asking questions, because if you don't, I will ask you questions. All right. So that was about me. It was all about me. I don't like talking about myself, but I thought it was, it would be good to just introduce myself to you, since I'm meeting all of you for the first time. All right. So let's talk about dance now. Dance in African context, or dance in context. So can someone read, one of the students, read this slide?
Kennard, I think you're at home and you probably don't have a mask on. Kennard, can you read it?
Okay.
To us, life with its rhythm and cycles is dance. Dance is a language, a mode of expression, which addresses itself to the mind through the heart, using relevant and significant movements, which have their basic counterparts in our everyday activities. For a deeper insight into our way in life, our labors, materials, cultures, inspirations, history, and social and economic conditions, religious beliefs and disbeliefs, moments of festivities and sadness. In short, our life and soul and the realities perceived, conceived, or felt that makes us the people that we are, that we have been and are at present, are relevant to the serious seeker in our dance.
Okay, good. Thank you. So if you ask, if you have any friend who is whose research or interests are rooted in African-based performance, or African-based dance, or indigenous dance forms, you are probably likely to get this response. So if you ask the typical, even here in the United States, if in the other parts of the West, if you ask someone to define dance, dance has no, it doesn't have one definition. Dance, we all understand what dance is, but dance is yet to, which I don't think that will happen. But every dance means different things for every group of people, for different groups of people. So if you ask to the African what dance means to them, you are likely to get this response. So it means everything. Everything, as in, like I tell my student that dance, you can look at it, you can look at this as the oxygen that the people need to breathe. You need this to live. So if you, so this definition is looking at dance beyond movement. It's looking at dance beyond singing or beyond music, beyond choreography, beyond, it's everything that has to do with life. Okay. If I ask some of you what the definition of dance from your own, not anything you've read in a book, like for you yourself, how would you define dance? Not anything you've read in a book, not anything anybody said. For you as a person, what would you say dance is?
I would say that dance is expressing your feelings through your body and like just expressing yourself through your movement.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So each one of us will have a definition. Every single one of us will have a definition, unless your professor gives you a book and then there's a definition and you have to go according to this reader or this writer's definition and then you discuss it. That's fine. But every single person, we have a way. We all have a very diverse and beautiful way of connecting to dance. So this is the continent of Africa. It has about 54 countries. You should be listening well and taking notes because I'll be asking you. I have questions here. I have set some questions here I'll be asking you after the presentation. So it has 54 countries. And I say this in a very in a profound way and sometimes jovial, that if someone asks you what is diversity, what does diversity mean to you, what is it, can you tell us, put it in some, what diversity is? You can just look at them and say Africa. You say Africa and then you move on, because yes, it's true, Africa is very, very diverse. It has about 2,400 languages spoken across the continent. It has close to trillion people. And each and every, what we should know here is, as dancers and as dance historians, what we should know is every single language has its own history, it has its own culture, it has a unique way of living. And these cultures are embedded in the in the traditional dances. So mostly in this presentation, what I'll be talking about is Sub-Saharan Africa. So Sub-Saharan Africa cuts across Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, Eritrea, all the way down to South Africa. That's Sub-Saharan Africa. So this is where I'll be talking about most, because that's where my research is focused on. So every language, like as I was saying, has history. It has its own dance, it has its own history embedded. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if there is 100 languages, then there are 100 dances. No, they have a lot of, the history varies in different ways. And so every history has its own dance. So one language can possess about 6 dances, 6 unique dances, different rhythm, different movement, different, everything is different. And so till now, I do not know, I don't know anybody who knows the number of dances, the number of traditional dances that lives in this on this continent. Maybe in future when I have I get a big a grant, I can do that, I can conduct that research, but nobody Nobody have tried to do that. It's just too much. You will need a whole you will need a whole community to be able to do that, and a lot of funds to be able to determine the number of dances on this continent. You can determine languages, fine. You can determine, but dance, I think one of the hindrance that you are likely to be dealing with is how it evolves, the evolution. Dances are evolving every day on the continent. Dances are coming as we speak every day. There is something being added on. Different generations come and they invent. Another generation come, they reinvent, or they omit, or they add. So it's very hard to keep track. So before we tackle this this slide, let me also let you know that a lot of these countries that you saw, a lot of these countries in sub-Saharan African countries, they were all colonized. If I say colonized, what is colonization? Can one of you tell me what it is? To colonize. If I say I'm coming to ECU to colonize the dance history people, what is going to happen? What am I going to do to you? Uh-huh. If I come to colonize you where you are sitting right now, what will happen in the next few days? What do you think will happen? What will happen to you? Have you heard the word before? Okay. So what is colonization?
It's like when someone comes in and takes over where the people are and like changes like the culture and like what they know as truth and prove themselves.
Okay. So someone else should come. So if I come to the space right now and I colonize you, what will happen? What would I do to you? Well, what do you think? How do you envision will happen? What do you envision will happen to you, to the space, to the course, to the program, to the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you walk, the food you eat, the dances you do, the choreography you love? What do you think will happen to them?
It will all change.
Yes, it will all change, and it will be me. It will be Mustafa now. I will be in charge. So colonialism basically means someone taking over your life, your whole being, from you as a person through everything that you engage in. So sub-Saharan African countries were colonized, and colonialism started after the transatlantic slave trade ended. When did the transatlantic slave trade ended? When did it end? It ended 400 years ago. Last year was 400 years ago. It's 400 years ago. So before 400 years ago, people were no. It started 400 years ago. It's estimated that it started 400 years ago. People believe that it started way before. I'm one of them. I believe it started way before. But no, it didn't end 400 years ago. It ended just about maybe less than 100 years ago. That's when colonialism ended. Maybe 90 or close to 100, 112. Between 100 and 112 is when the Atlantic slave trade was abolished. And then colonialism, Europeans went back to Africa to colonize. So this is where some of these countries were colonized by the British, some were colonized by the French, the Spaniards, the Portuguese, and the Dutch. Germans were also. So some of these countries that you see, like Ghana, was colonized by the British. Ghana, Nigeria, Guinea, Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Zimbabwe. These countries were all colonized by the British. And then French had Niger, Mali, so they took over. And so that's why if you go to Ghana, the mode of instruction that you see is in English. When someone speaks to you, it will be in English. Because British came over, they took over. So we have to speak their English, we have to dress like them, we have to eat like them. And so what was happening to our culture? We were losing our culture. Our dances were going extinct. So our president, his name is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So Kwame Nkrumah fought for independence in Ghana in 1957, and we gained independence in 1957. So Ghana is arguably the first Black African country to gain independence from the British. So Ghana set the pace for the other colonies, the other African countries to follow. So when Kwame Nkrumah gained independence, when we gained independence and the British left the continent, Kwame Nkrumah sat down and realized that, so these people had come into the country, they've been ruling the continent for about 100 years. And so people were stopping the religion. Our religion was shifted, the dance was shifted, our history was being wiped out. And so he wanted to bring back the African personality. So he named this speech that, this is from a long speech. He named the speech African Genius. So he wanted to project the African personality. So one of the things he did was he sent people into various communities, various ethnic groups in the country to learn their dances, to learn the traditional dances, and came back to practice and keep them at the University of Ghana as a resource center. So he created the African Studies Department. So the African Studies Department had the Ghana Dance Ensemble. The Ghana Dance Ensemble retained some of the dances that were going extinct. Some of the dances the British were, it was the agenda to wipe it off, to make us think, this is worthless. This has nothing to do with life. Change, come to my way, because I'm a colonizer. I dictate to you. I tell you the things that I want you to do. So can someone read this?
We are denied the knowledge of our African past and informed that we had no present. What future could there be for us? We were taught to regard our culture and traditions as barbarous and primitive. Our textbooks were English textbooks telling us about English history, English geography, English ways of living, English customs, English ideas, English weather. All this has to be changed, and it is a stupendous task. This is something that we are, however, getting on with, as it is vital that we should nurture our own culture and history if we are to develop that African personality, which must provide the educational and intellectual foundations of our Pan-African future.
Good. Thank you. So this is his idea of trying to decolonize the African after several years of colonialism. All right. Now let me come back to, we'll talk about types of dances, types of African-based dances on the continent. So before I talk about the types, I think I should also mention to you that when, and this will come up somewhere along the, in the course of the presentation. When these folks were summoned, so they were summoned to go into the communities to learn the dances and brought the dances back to keep them at the University of Ghana. You have to know that if there is a traditional dance at ECU, in the dance program has a traditional dance. Let's say it is called the ECU dance, and everybody in the world knows this dance is for ECU students and anybody who belong to the ECU community. And you do the traditional dance in a certain way. So, and I'll be talking to you about the attributes, the philosophies of traditional dance. So you do it in a certain way because it's traditional. It has to follow certain orders and certain fundamental functions. So, but I saw the dance. A lot of people have seen the dance. Everybody loves it. We love it. And then we invite you. Let's say I invite you to here at UNCA for you to perform the same dance. Once you agree to come here and you come here to do the ECU dance, its tradition starts to lose value. We start to question the tradition because it's no more the tradition. So if now it becomes a neo-traditional dance. So a neo-traditional dance is taking a traditional dance out of its context and performing it somewhere else. So all the traditional dances that I know, the dances that I'll be teaching on Wednesday, it's a traditional dance. Yes, you can say that. But also you should know that it is not in its traditional context. So it becomes a neo-traditional dance. It's the same neo term that you can use this same term as a neo-colonialism. So neo-colonialism is after the fact. So it's after you've gained independence, but the colonizer still it has a way of coming back to get you, coming back to colonize you in a very salient way that you don't really see. So you have to know the difference between traditional dance and neo-traditional dance. As dance historians, you can refer to every dance you see as a traditional dance. If it's not in its traditional context, you can say, oh, this is a neo-traditional dance. It is okay when people say traditional dance, you don't have to go at them, you don't have to hold them to it. But I think it's good for us to know as dancers, scholars, creators, historians, as we move forward, these are things that we need to know. Good. So there are different types of traditional dances, of African-based traditional dance. There's a recreational type, there's ritual type or religious dance. There's economic dance, there's courtship. I did not add that here. There's courtship dance. And all these dances happen they happen during a specific traditional function, like festivals, funerals, naming ceremony, childbirth, rite of initiation, the circle of life. What are the circle, like meeting, getting married, farming, plowing a land. So every in Africa, in the African context, every occasion, every function has its own dance. So what do you think will be? You can just yell if you know the answer. What do you think will be a dance for a childbirth? What kind of dance would you think will be for a childbirth, during childbirth? Childbirth. So you go, you have your baby, you are happy, people want to celebrate. What kind of dance do you think they will do?
A joyful dance, a celebratory dance.
A celebratory, yes. Celebratory or recreational dance. Yes. So, and then if, let's say, someone passes on, if I say someone, I'm choosing my someone very carefully. Someone between the ages of 80 to 100, if they pass on the continent of Africa, we call that a life with celebration of life. And so they will do a recreational dance and they will do a religious dance. They will not mourn, although you can't really help it, you will mourn. But the idea is to not mourn. When people pass and they are young, that's where people mourn. But when people who are older, when they transition, we see that as a transition. We see them as ancestors. We want to give them a good, goodbye and pray for the living ancestors to welcome him or her into their midst. Okay, and then we have economic dance where they go, if I have a land and I invite people to come help me. So the way of life in Africa is very communal. Everybody helps everybody. So if you are farming and you need help, you need more hands to, the land is huge, so you need more hands to plow. Because remember, before Europeans arrived, we were farmers, we were hunters, we were fishermen and fish. We go to fish, both men and women. We were we hunted. Did I mention hunting? Yeah, hunting. So that's why if you see a lot of traditional African-based dances. So let me ask you: have you all seen traditional dance being performed before, either live or on video? You have.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you see in terms of the movement? Not everything else. As the individual, how do they move? Like typically, like all the different dances, all the different African dances you've seen, what commonality can you identify? Like if you picture the individual doing the dance, what is one commonality you can put your finger on and say, this is very common among all the dances?
They said grounded or weighted.
Yes. So groundedness. Yes. So everything is here, right? Everything is going down. Every time knee is bent, knees are loose, knee is bent, torso tilted forward, knee bent. It's always like that. Mostly, it's like this. You don't see, maybe with a flash of a second, like people will do, go on the releve just to come back. onto, knee, bent knee. So our activities, the things we do, inform the way we move. So if you're hunting, remember, if you're hunting, you are always low. You want to stay low, or you expose yourself to your prey and they run away. So you stay low. When you go fishing and you want to cast a net, you go low, you bend your knee and you cast your net. When we are farming in Ghana and a lot of sub-Saharan African countries, and in the villages, if you go to the villages, when people farm, they use machete, they use hoes to farm. They don't use here you have a mower. You stand and you push it and then it just moves everything. In a lot of villages in sub-Saharan African countries, you bend, and then you use machete to clear your grass. So one of the commonalities that you can identify is the height. It's very low, always. So this is some of the other, in total, some of the other philosophies guiding African dance base. So there is polyrhythm. Polyrhythm is all the different rhythms that happens at the same time. You do observe, or you do agree that if you see an African dance being performed, there's a lot going on. You have different parts of the body doing different things at the same time, in tandem or connected to the music being played. Then we have dynamics of speed. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast, and it's very participatory and vocal. People come in to sing. There are people standing around. When they sing and you're in the audience and you know the song, you can join. And then the circle. So the circle, we mostly dance always going anti-clockwise. Yep, anti-clockwise. So we always dance going anti-clockwise. So the idea is, if someone will ask you, why do these people always dance? Most of their dances are in circles. So anti-clockwise, when we walk, so we believe, and I learned this from the Ewe people. The Ewe people, they occupy Benin, Togo, and Ghana. So every human, so your heart, they said, this is what they told me. They said your heart is in the left, the left side here. And so when you turn clockwise, you are turning away from your heart. And they don't appreciate that. So you always turn anti-clockwise. You turn to your heart. That's how they explained it to me. And I thought it was beautiful. So that's why a lot of their dances, I said, so why is it that it's always going anti-clockwise? And that was their explanation. So the circle, and then the improvisation. In case you didn't know, there's a lot of improvisation in African-based performances. Improvisation, competition. This is a friendly competition, though. It's not a hardcore competition where you don't have to be mean to anybody. It's a very friendly competition where you do your dance and then I come on and I try to do something, way out of, a groundbreaking move. So it's all very friendly, not the competition that, you hear that you are like I know most of my students are coming from a competition background. So when I say it's competitive, they go into their competition mode. So it's very friendly competition. And then there's a solo performances too. And then the bigger picture, the visual and the dramatic enactment and demonstration. Sometimes you see people making facial expressions, speaking, dancing, and using arms to make gestures, and it's all embedded in the dance. So some of the philosophies that when you are asked about philosophies of African-based performance. And there's more. This is not all of it. There is more. Okay, are you taking notes? I'll be asking you. Okay. All right. So somebody will ask how. So I talked about how geographical location affects the things you do affect your the way you move, the geographical location, the environment, living things and non-living things. We have trees. There's a dance. Some of the dances are mimicking, they are created from mimicking a bird. Some of the dances are created from mimicking a tree, the way the tree look. Some are created from mimicking certain farm animals, the way they walk. Like Adowa dance in Ghana. Adowa is an antelope. And the dance, if you see the dance, you see a lot of quick feet, intricate feet, mimicking the antelope. And this dance is done by the Ashantis because they live with these animals. They watch them and they mimic them. And then so when some people will ask some basic journalistic questions, like who dances, when do they dance, how do they dance, which, all these questions. These are all very broad. I'm just gonna mention them briefly, but they are very broad. Like who dances? Every dance has its own category of people. If I say category of people, it could mean age-wise, social status, gender, sometimes the family, where a particular clan or a particular family. There are some dances that are only done by a particular group of people. Some dances are done, if I say social status, by chiefs. It's only the chiefs who can do it. Some dances are done by children between 5 and 13, or children right before they attain, they become teenagers or adolescents, or when they achieve their rite of initiation. So, and then when do they dance? Some happen in the morning, some are in the afternoon, some are at dawn, depending on the occasion, some are at night, and they go for a very long time. So they don't have, African-based dances mostly do not have beginning, like we are going to start here, we are going to end. No, it keeps going on and on and on and on and on until everybody gets tired. And then they say, you know what, we are done. We are done for today. And then they move on. But otherwise it goes on and on and on, which is very different from Western-based dances. So if they ask you, features, I've talked about the philosophies, features. They ask you, I'm going to talk a little about the function or the role of music. So the music is a bowl of salad. This is how I like to explain it. A bowl of salad. So the salad, it has, but this salad is not even, it just look good, and I put it there, but it doesn't really have all the stuff in there. It's missing some stuff, but it's missing the carrots, maybe some, what else? What else is it missing?
Basic chicken.
And then what else?
Cheese.
Dressing.
Yes.
Okay. So it's missing a lot of stuff, but it's a bowl of salad. The reason why I say that is, if you see African-based performance and you see the drums, there are a lot of drums. Sometimes 8, sometimes 12, sometimes 6. It depends. And then there's a lot of people standing behind the musicians. A lot of people. Everybody's doing something. Clapping, ululation, all happening at the same time. So the clapping, the ululation, all the various rhythms that come together to form the harmony is what I'm terming as a bowl of salad. So all these items in salad, they come together to become salad, the salad that you love. You need to mix a lot of things together before you get to the real taste that you love. That's how you can look at the music that way. It's a lot of different things coming together to come in harmony. And then when they are in harmony, the music is in harmony, the dance is also in harmony. The music and the dance are married, they are together. They don't separate them. And so if you are dancing and the step that you do, if it's not connected to the music, it means it's off. You are not listening. So to a lot of African dance, people who talk about African dance, critics about African dance, is they are not gonna, they don't judge you based on the movement. It is not about what the movement you can execute and how tall or how you can sustain your movement. No, it is your ability to execute the movement within the music, connecting to the music and executing the movement. That's what makes you a stellar dancer in the community. So if you can dance, but you don't really listen to the music, you can't hear the music, they don't. You are not, they say you are still learning. If you're able to connect to the music, yes. That's when they say you know what you're doing. So we see the music and we hear the dance. So anybody who cannot do that, if you don't see the music and hear the dance, they say, no, you're not quite there yet. So if someone will ask, oh, this person, does he see the music and hear the dance? If they say, yeah, that means yes. They know the relationship between the music and the dance and the singers and the drummers and all the various instruments that come together. Okay, so this is not to talk about just African dance, the traditional dances. I'm just gonna take a little detour about different dances that are also happening on the continent, like contemporary African dance. Contemporary African dance is where we get the opportunity to incorporate all the traditions. That's where you break the rules. So tradition, you can't really break the rule. You can't change tradition. It is what it is, and that's how it stays. You can't touch it, nothing. Or you'll be appropriating. So contemporary African dance gives us the leverage to deconstruct and add a lot of things, change the music the way we want it to sound, do the movement the way we really feel about it, and present it to our audience. Otherwise, if sometimes I'm uncomfortable when people say they are choreographing traditional dance, a dance that already exists, that has been made by a community that doesn't belong to anybody. Traditional dances do not have choreographers. It belongs to the community, it belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to an individual. So there's contemporary African dance, and Noyam African Dance Institute is one of, and Echo Les Sables. They are one of those who are championing this form. And there are a lot of artists, various artists that I'm sure you'll be meeting in your readings, some of your readings, you'll be meeting some of these contemporary African dance people in the world. I know Jane will introduce you, if she hasn't already. She will introduce you to some of these contemporary African dancers who are making waves, who are breaking grounds and incorporating all these African rhythms and movements, and coming out to speak in our contributing to the ever evolving dance world. All right, so I'm gonna share. What time is it? Oh man, where did the time go? Is it 12:35?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. Okay. let me show a little this video. So this video talks about how the things we do, the various things we do in our villages, how they all contribute to rhythm. Jim, have you watched this?
Yeah, I'm here.
You have?
So you want me to click it for you?
Yeah, is it showing?
No, it's not showing.
Oh.
It might be
wait.
on a different screen. Maybe you're sharing a different screen.
Wait.
So do you have a second screen that you could show?
Oh, wait, I have to share. Can you see now?
Oh, now we can see it. Now
Okay.
we can see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. But James, have you showed this in class?
Yeah, I have not shown them this yet.
No, okay, because if you have, I don't want to waste time.
No, you're good. Thank you.
Okay. So these are some of our activities. All the activities that we do. And this is how dance. This is it. The walking, the carrying, the pounding, and the items that they interact with, they all contribute. All right, I'm just gonna skip forward a little. Cutting trees. It's all rhythmic. They've synced all of it together. Yeah, they make. This is making a drum, a djembe. If you've seen a djembe drum, this is how they make it. They cut it, they bring it, they go to the blacksmith, they carve all the metals. I'm gonna skip forward. And it's all rhythm. It's all very rhythmic. And then they carve. And it's language. It's language. So this same rhythm, just gonna skip forward. The rhythm, this is kids, children washing. There are no washing machines. You wash with your hands. And the sound of the water, and then when you dry, and then of course, I did some of these when I was younger. You go to the dumpster, grab some cans and bottles, empty cans, and you hit them to create music. Yep, this is how they start. And then this is where it ends up. This is Dundumba. Dundumba means dance on the strong. So the rhythm you heard them being, this is the rhythm. This is the dance. it gets real. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can. It's the screen that just showed the video.
That's what you can see?
Yeah, the screen that showed the video. The
Oh.
YouTube video. So you might have to switch the screen.
Okay.
There you go. Now I see you.
Okay. So, okay. You still see me?
We see your presentation. That looks good.
Okay. All right. These are some of my, I can share this with you, Jamie, I can share this with you later.
That sounds great. And what I'll do is I'll put it on their Canvas site, if that's okay with you, so they have access to it.
Yeah, I'll send those videos. I went through it really quickly. I think if they watch, it's about 10 minutes.
Okay.
If they watch it in the entirety, I think it's very informative.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Any questions? We have only 2 minutes or 3 minutes to go. Let me apologize that we didn't get to move. It's a lot of information.
No apology needed. Though I'm sure they'll get to move next time.
Oh yes. So next time we'll start with movement.
So much information. It's wonderful. Any questions, guys?
All right. Any question?
I have a question. So in your training and in your development, what made you want to come to the United States for your training, for your education?
So I made that decision while I was on tour. I met various artists from the world, and I will ask them, what are you doing in your country? And because, I was in Ghana, I thought dance only evolved around Ghana. I was young, naive, I didn't know anything. So when I met these various artists, they told me, oh, it's a whole other world out there. If you come to France, this is this is that. So when I decided to travel, I wanted to go to Europe. And then I didn't mention this, but Michael Jackson had a very great influence on me. So when I was growing up, I was doing Michael Jackson. So I still know the Thriller choreography by heart. So I wanted to learn modern dance. I think modern dance was what brought me here. Yeah, like Avinelli, from Avinelli, watching Avinelli. It made me realize that, oh, okay, so there's a lot of dances going on here. And then when I came to ADF, that was when I made the decision. I went to Cunningham, I went to Portela, Martha Graham, and it's a whole new different world. And so I'm like, okay, so why shouldn't I come and learn these forms so I'll become more rounded as an artist and not focus on just one thing. So that was the reason. That was my reason.
Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Any other questions for him? No. Can you teach us how to say thank you in what's on the screen?
So these are all the languages I speak. The first one is Akan Medase. The second one is Gan Nyeyoladon, means plural. All of you, thank you. Plural. And then the third one is Hausa, is Nagode. The fourth one is Eve Akpe. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next is Yebarka, is Dagari. The next one is Adan Openo. And the last one is Baraka, is Wali. These are all the languages that I speak.
Wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much, Muphasta. We are so grateful for you sharing your time and your experience and your knowledge with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Jane, on Wednesday, it's going to be movement. It's going to be all movement.
Super. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just share a sound. We'll dance off of audio recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're playing live with Zoom sometimes is very technical. It has technical problems and all that.
Wonderful. So they'll be ready to move. Some of them will be here in the studio. Some of them will be in their own spaces.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you so much. We're very grateful.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
All right. right, bye-bye.
Bye.